What's up? I'm the Calcara 131, and this is my review of the Peltor Comtac 3 headset. The Peltor Comtac 3s are a rather expensive pair of headset, or pair of ear protection for most people, most average shooters, I would say, considering that these, depending on which specific version you get, the Hearing Defender version is this one, which doesn't come with any outs for, or any lines already in for push to talks or anything like that. It doesn't come with a boom mic or anything. I'll get to why it would have those in a minute, but the price, just to start out with, which is going to deter a lot of you, I'm sure, depending on which version, again, you get $270 to $350, give or take, anywhere in there, with sales and different websites sell it for different amounts, yada yada. But they're definitely a very expensive set of ear pro, especially for, again, the average guy that just goes to the range every once in a while. If you're a casual shooter, I wouldn't even recommend you get these. Just straight up, I wouldn't recommend it because they're way too expensive. However, for that price, what do you get? So for, let's just catch all, 300 bucks. For 300 bucks, you get, in my opinion, the best, undoubtedly one of the best headsets you can possibly get. There are a couple different features that make this undoubtedly the best headset I've ever used. And again, granted, I'm relatively new to shooting and I haven't used a whole lot of headsets, but I can tell you that until the day these die, I'm probably never gonna get another pair because they're just amazing at everything that I could want them to do. Now, there's the one big advantage I have for these, and I would say for most casual shooters, the guys that don't use these in a professional capacity, that are just civilians that go to the range and practice, training classes once in a while, whatever. Those guys, the biggest advantage I can think of for these, and for me the biggest advantage, is the comfort. Now, one of the features this headset has is after 2 hours of you not pressing one of these two buttons, 2 hours of inactivity basically, it'll start beeping in the mic, or in the headset rather. It'll start beeping and telling you, hey, we're about to auto shut off. It has an auto shut off after 2 hours. Now, I can tell you undeniably, I've only used a couple other pairs of ear pro plugs and one other pair of electronic ear protection, extensively anyway. And I can tell you undoubtedly, there is no possible way I could have worn any of those for long enough that I would be surprised and confused for a second whenever I heard that. With these, I do. I don't know what it is specifically about it. It could be these gel cups, the pair I got. And again, I think you can get these without this kind of cup, but have a fake, well, not fake, a gel sort of material on the ear cups. And it's either that, it could be just the clamping force that it has. I'm not 100% positive, but I can tell you that I can literally wear these for hours and hours, and I can have them out at the range. I can wear them for so long and almost literally forget that I'm wearing them. They're that comfortable that whenever it starts beeping and saying it's about to shut off, I'll get confused for a second trying to figure out what the hell was that. I forgot. Oh yeah, it's been 2 hours since I've had these on. They are literally that comfortable. And again, for the average weekend warrior civilian, that's probably going to be the biggest advantage. Now, the other big advantage that, for me anyway, as someone I'm still a civilian, I don't use these in a professional capacity, but as someone that is fairly serious about shooting, and what I mean by that in this specific instance is if it's raining, snowing, whatever, and I decided I wanted to go, if I still can, I'm still gonna go. I don't care if it's raining, I don't care if it's snowing, whatever. If I had planned on going, I'm probably gonna go, assuming everything else lines up. But I bring that up because the only other pair of electronic ear protection I've used, which is these super cheap Caldwell ear protection. You can probably find these at Walmart, Farm and Home, your local equivalent, whatever. They're very cheap. And that shows in the case that I was down in Camden, Tennessee, attending the fighting pistol class at Tactical Response, and it had started raining and pouring down, so the instructors had us leave the range and go sit in our cars for a little bit because it was coming down so hard. It was pouring. And I had screwed up and left these on the table, and whenever I got back, they were dead. Dead AF. The water had just shot these. I haven't even tried using them since because I got this. But that's one of the other big advantages the Comtac 3s have, is that these are, again, because largely they are geared towards and marketed towards professional users, military, police, cops, whatever, people that are going to use these in a professional or duty sense capacity. These are completely waterproof. As long as you have these battery compartment covers in place, these are submersible down to 3 feet for 30 minutes as far as water protection. Now, those are the two big advantages that I personally have with these, is that, again, the sheer comfort. And if you're serious about shooting and you do it halfway often or a lot, you're going to absolutely love how comfortable these are. Maybe it'll be different for you. I can only speak for me, but the comfort level is insane with these. Again, I'm not sure if it's the gel cups. I feel like it might be at least largely that. It could be just how they sit on my head. There's no padding on these, but for me, that doesn't bother me. I normally wear them around my hat, and it just doesn't bother me. They sit perfectly fine. The gel cups are wonderful. I'm kind of planning on testing another product, the Noise Fighters gel cups that are aftermarket gel cups you can put on other kinds of hearing protection. I'm thinking about doing a review on those and comparing like some Howard lights or something with those Noise Fighters to this, just for comfort level. But the gel cups, again, are the biggest advantage, the comfort factor. The other big advantage of these is, again, the waterproofness, the weatherproofing on it, so that they meet mil standard 810F. So, you know, pretty much anything a civilian is going to put these through, these are going to withstand. And another feature, snow on the ground, another feature that kind of goes in with comfort is a combination of the gel cups and the clamping force on them mean that even if you don't have them turned on, I can put these on and they'll still block out the large majority of a gunshot as long as it's at an outdoor range. You know, I have these put on, and without the headset turned on, just off, just passively, they still block out, again, the majority of it. And I have actually tried it a couple times outdoors, not at an indoor range. Outdoors, I've tried them not turned on just to see, and they still work. Obviously not as well, but they work really well. Another feature of these that how important this is to you might depend a little bit, but the sound quality on these is insane. It's gotten to a point where I've been using these for, again, I got them for Christmas last year, so about a year. I've been wearing these every time I go to the range, and the sound quality, the microphones that pick up everything and let you hear it through it, the quality is so clear and crystal and everything, I cannot go back to wearing another pair of ear protection. And, you know, I've tried one or two others, and I've put them on just to kind of test it out and see, just for curiosity's sake. I have not found any other pair of ear protection. I haven't tried many, granted, but I haven't found any other pair of electronic ear protection with amplification that will get across the same crystal quality that these have. Put them on, and everything sounds so natural. There is obviously a little bit of electronic distortion, but compared to every other pair of ear protection that I've ever tried, these are incredible. They sound so good. The only disadvantage about this one that I could come up with is that your voice definitely sounds muffled. I'm not sure how common that is with other ear pro, especially of this caliber, let's say, but everything else around me sounds incredibly natural. Let's go with that word. Everything sounds almost as good as it would as if I didn't have these on. And to say that everything going on with them, they still sound that natural and crystal clear, and you can still hear range commands from the guy you're training with, or a range officer, or you're talking to a friend or whatever. You can still hear all of them incredibly naturally. It's a big feature. Now, as far as controls on these, there's a lot, so be prepared here. There's two buttons, these two, one up, one down. As you would be wearing them, the wind muffles on these, the microphones go forward, so you put them on like that. Facing forward, this front one turns the audio up. The back one turns the audio down. It's a lot to remember, but I'm confident you guys can make it. You can understand it. You hold the front button for 5 seconds and it turns on. Hold it for 5 seconds, it turns off. But that's another feature I like about how simple they are. There's not extra buttons. There's not a separate knob you have to turn on and you rotate it all the way up. It's just push buttons. That's all it is. Only other physical features, I guess, that are noteworthy are these back here. And these are the inputs for various adapters and push-to-talk headsets that Peltor offers. And getting into that briefly, the reason these have them, this headset has those adapters and inputs, is because these really are marketed and pushed more for people that are in a professional lifestyle. You know, cops, patrol cops, SWAT officers, whatever, military units, people like that are going to use these and actually need them seriously are people who are going to be looking at these more, I would say, because the price alone for an average civilian just going to the range is probably going to be a turnoff unless you have a lot of money, obviously. But that's the reason they have these on there, because they're really pushed more for police or military or people like that. People who are going to have actual radio comms that they need to put in. You can get 2 different comm systems going in here, one push-to-talk here, one here, whatever. But that's what they have those on there for. I will also mention briefly that they have an adapter that you can buy, a Peltor adapter you can buy that plugs into this, that has then terminates in a 3.5mm jack. So any of your standard headphone jacks on phones, you can still listen to music with these if you wanted to. You would just have to buy that separate adapter. And now finally, the only other thing physically on the headset to go over is the battery compartments. One on each ear. Just pop it out. Takes 1 AAA on each side. And one brief mention I will do. To put these on, you just push them straight in, pull them straight out, whatever. That water submersion rating, 3 feet for 30 minutes, I believe it is. That is only in place and intact whenever these battery compartment covers are physically in place. And the last feature that I can go over with these that I personally have noticed, I'm sure there are other features on these that I have never even delved into or had a use for, because, as previously mentioned, they are largely geared towards people in a professional use, professional capacity. So I'm sure there are features on this that I just haven't used because I'm just a civilian. But the other feature on here that I have noticed is the battery life. Now, compared to a lot of other electronic hearing protection battery life that I've seen and looked up, this is better than the majority of them. You know, Howard Lights, you're looking at the average they say is about 350. These Comtac 3s have around 500 hours of battery life. 2 hour shut off, so they're gonna last quite a while. The year that I've had these, I think I've changed the battery once. And now granted, I might not go to the range and practice as much as some other people do. Unfortunately, the range I go to is about an hour away, and money costs. I don't have an ammo sponsorship like some other big gun YouTubers. So, I can't claim that I go to the range more than a lot of people, but I will say that I go to the range more than the average person. And these, I've only changed the battery once. The only other headset that I have personally looked at that has a battery life comparable to these is the MSA Sordens, which are rated around 600 hours. Yeah, that's an extra 100 hours of battery life. How much importance you put on battery life in the first place is kind of dubious because it's just one set of AAA batteries. But, and again, even if they did die, the clamping force and the gel cups mean that they work pretty well as just passive ear protection anyway. But the other note I'll do about the MSA Sordens, absolutely no experience with them, but they are also another pair of expensive ear pro that are, from what I've seen, again, more geared towards police or military. Some of the other features about these that I really like are, you know, and this isn't specific to these, a lot of headsets do this, but a lot of ear pro does this. You can collapse them down, they become a pretty small package. And the other thing I really, really like about them is, you know, just compare them briefly to this cheap-ass Caldwell set. You can kind of tell, they're actually kind of inverted, but they're a bit more streamlined and narrow than some other headsets. And there are obviously other slim headsets. The Howard Light Sports are pretty streamlined, kind of like these. The Walker Razor Slims are slimmed down. But I do really like these because I have never once had these interfere whenever I'm shouldering a rifle. So take that for what it's worth. And you know, some other accessories that Peltor has for these, I mean, there's a huge number. You can look up accessories for this and you'll have a ton. You know, they have models that have a neck band that goes around the back too, around the back of your head. They have, I'm not sure if it's actually from Peltor, but you can get helmet adapters for these. So you would pull these off, pull the wires out, put different ones in, and you can attach them to any of your standard ballistic helmets. You can get boom mics for them, obviously. You can attach push-to-talks to it, so you need a microphone for it. You can get that. And again, a lot of those are kind of showing that they're made for military units or police, but largely, I would say a lot of the aftermarket accessories for this are not applicable for the average person. So the Peltor Comtac 3 hearing defender models, technically. What are my final thoughts on them? Undoubtedly, undeniably, my only electronic headset I'm ever going to use from now on until the day these die. These are everything about them I'm in love with. The comfort of them, I can literally wear them for 6-8 hours at the range and not really be bothered with it. The amplification is great, the comfort, the price is a downside. So depending on how you value money, that's going to be up to you. But everything about them, the waterproofness, the other big feature, undoubtedly these are the best headset I have ever used, and I'm going to continue using them until they die, until the day they die. So, yeah. Do you have any experience with them? Do you have negative experiences with them? I've saw some bad reviews, but not many. So if you have any experience with them, let me know in the comments down below. Tell me how they compare, if you have experience with them. Tell me how they compare to other headsets you've used. Because again, I'm pretty new to shooting. I don't have a lot of experience with other headsets. I've heard some people say the MSA Sordens are actually a little bit better than these. I don't know. I don't have I don't have the money to drop on like another $250 pair of ear protection. But yeah, if you liked the video, you found it informative, intriguing, whatever, give me a thumbs up. Tell me in the comments what you think of these headsets. Also, tell me how, if you would like to see me do that review on the Noise Fighters gel cups, because I think that could be intriguing. The idea that you could get like Howard lights with the Noise Fighters and they could be just as comfortable as this, and you wouldn't have to spend 300 bucks. Tell me if you'd like to see that, because that's one I'm seriously thinking about doing. So yeah, the 3M Peltor Comtac 3 headset. I love them. I'm the Calcara 131, signing off.